welcome to JIT's Television News, where we bring you daily news, information, current affairs, business and investment, as well as finance and what is happening in the world of stock markets and global economics. Entertainment is our business news on multiple platforms for all Zimbabweans and all Africans on one channel. The time is here, isikhathi sifikile. Here are your headlines. Zimbabwe government has given relief to residents in Arlington Estate as it dismisses the demolition of their houses. Giant oil company Shell is set to take business in Namibia to the next level as the firm discovers oil and gas in the country at and closely watched offshore. On your sports pre-tournament favorites, Ivory Coast has been bungled out of Africa Cup of Nations after they lost 5-4 during penalties to the Pharaohs of Egypt. Your leading story this hour, the Zimbabwe government has assured the nation that no houses except in extreme circumstances will be demolished as the Second Republic is committed to seeing people with requisite shelter. National Housing and Social Amenities Minister Daniel Gawi tells journalists in Harare that as far as the central government was concerned, there would be any demolitions as President Mnangagwa last year gifted Zimbabwe, specifically urbanites, with the title deeds. This comes after Harare Metropolitan Province Secretary for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Dafadzwa Muguti, had earlier said developments in the Arlington Estate Phase 2 and retreat areas fell in the airport red zone and could be demolished. However, Muguti clarifies that the Arlington development should never have been allowed, but corners were cut in the old dispensation, resulting in houses being constructed in the red zone. He reveals that in its current state, Arlington Estate would not be demolished, but the proposed second phase would not be accepted, and should Arlington Estate continue to be hard-headed and not cooperate in authorities, or rather with authorities, the provincial government structures cooperating with the Civil Aviation Authority of Zimbabwe and cooperating with the Airports Company of Zimbabwe, then those houses would likely be demolished. Muguti adds that some private players own land within the red zone, but they stand to be guided by the CAZ, or rather CAAZ, and are supposed to build temporary structures if it is industrial structures so that they don't interfere with the aviation industry. Moving on to other news, the death toll from Tropical Storm Anna has risen to at least 12 in Mozambique and Malawi, according to reports from authorities, although officials and aid agencies are still assessing the full impact on the storm that swept throughout southern Africa. Mozambique's National Institute for Management and Disaster Risk Reduction say that 8 people have died, 54 injured, and 895 evacuated in the prior 24 hours. More than 20,000 people in Mozambique have been affected by the storm, with more than 3,000 homes partially destroyed and over 600 totally destroyed, along with several health centers and dozens of classrooms. The institute reveals that, adding that drones and boats had been deployed in relief efforts. Furthermore, in neighboring Malawi, where the storm led to major power cuts as flooding damaged electricity installation, the district commissioner for Chikwagwa confirmed 3 more deaths after the disaster department on Tuesday reported a death in Mulanje. Meanwhile, Mozambique and other southern African countries have been repeatedly struck by severe storms and cyclones in recent years that have destroyed infrastructure and displaced a number of people. However, experts say that the storms have become stronger as waters have warmed due to climate change, while rising sea levels have made low-lying coastal areas vulnerable. Naimi Haiti, acting head of the cluster delegation in Mozambique's capital Maputo, For the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies appeals to the world that clean drinking water, mosquito nets and masks were some of the immediate items needed to prevent disease outbreaks. Coming up next is your JIT-TV business news.
When I travel far and wide, I'm always searching for an easy way to get things in one place. It's right here, it is at your fingertips. This is it. Check it out, it's got it all. Gateway Stream. A lifestyle like no other that you know. Get it all, get it now, all in one experience. This is it. Gateway Stream. Gateway Stream. This is it.
Gateway Stream. The future is here now. Download the app from Google Play and Apple App Store. Gateway Stream, a subsidiary of the Rainbow Tourism Group.
On your JIT-TV business news this hour, the Zimbabwe cold storage company is set to reopen in April this year for the first time in 20 years when plant rehabilitation works at the firm's headquarters in Bulawayo have been completed. Overall plant upgrade, whose scope of work at the Bulawayo factory involves electrical engineering works, replacement and installation of new spares, is now 85% complete. The country's largest meat processor and marketer was being revamped after the government in 2019 signed a $400 million joint venture farming concession agreement with Bolstead Beef Zimbabwe and United Kingdom-based investor. Under the arrangement, Bolstead Beef Zimbabwe will take over and manage CAC ranches for an initial period of 25 years. Speaking during a tour of the plant, CSC Bolstead Beef consultant Reginald Shoko says revamping of the Bulawayo plant has been delayed by the COVID-19 induced national lockdowns. However, at its peak in the 1990s, the company that owns 4 abattoirs used to employ 1,500 permanent workers and about 700 casual employees, thereby making it one of the country's biggest employers. Therefore, it is hoped that as capacity utilization and throughout improve after resumption of operations, the plant will gradually increase the number of people employed. In your other business news this hour, the giant oil company Shell has made a significant oil and gas discovery at an closely watched offshore well in Namibia, which could spark a wave of investment in the southern African country. Namibia is not a fossil fuel producer, although northern neighbor Angola is a major oil and gas producer and a member of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries. According to reports, the Namibian government is planning to make an announcement next week on the details of the discovery at the Graph 1 well, which Shell started drilling last month. The well results have so far shown at least 2 reservoirs containing what one of the resources described as a significant amount of oil and gas. Well, according to a second source, the drilling results have shown one layer at least 60 meters deep of hydrocarbons holding an estimated 250 to 300 million barrels of oil and gas equivalent. Shell holds a 45% stake in the offshore petroleum exploration license, 39% with a 45% interest held by Qatar Petroleum and a 10% held by the National Petroleum Corporation of Namibia. Well, this brings us to the end of our JIT-TV business news this hour. Up next is your sports and entertainment with Denise Pine.
Sing it your 18, 18, MOA 18. Trip ya mi pume Italy, as born, de la song. Sing it your 18, 18, MOA 18. Trip ya mi pume Italy.
It's the JIT experience, guys. This is the JIT experience.
De la song. Sing it your 18, 18, MOA 18.
Hello and welcome viewers, my name is Denise Pan and you're watching JIT-TV Sports and Entertainment News. In your sports news this hour, and your surprise game after soccer at the Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon, Egypt beat Ivory Coast 5-4 on penalties to reach the quarterfinals following a goalless draw. The North Africans got the upper hand in the shootout when substitute keeper Gabaski saved Eric Bailey's effort in the third round of spot kicks. Furthermore, Pharaoh's captain Mohamed Salah netted the decisive penalty to send the record 7-time champions through. Egypt will face Morocco in the last 8 in Yaoundé on Sunday. However, the finale was somewhat harsh on Manchester United defender Bailey, who had performed superbly at the back while sporting a rugby scrum cap on his return from a head injury. Yet he took a short run up for his penalty and placed his effort too close to Gabaski, who dived to his right and stuck out his left hand to push the ball onto the bar. On the other hand, Zamalek keeper had come on right at the end of the second half after Mohamed Al-Shanawi picked up a leg injury and may well start against Morocco depending on the extent of the injury suffered by Egypt number 1. In other sports news, while for the love of golf, the city of Harare has partnered a local private company, Orga Investments, to facelift Warren Hills Golf Course in Zimbabwe into a Class 18 range golf course, as well as a drive range and a clubhouse. The golf club has been lying idle for several years due to neglect and resources to keep the elite sporting venue running. However, the joint venture agreement was that the city of Harare will provide land and Sunshine Development will contribute $7 million for the development of the land. Furthermore, West Properties Chief Executive Officer Raiden Sharp says they're currently working on development plans for the golf course since it is a rundown comparing to what it was 20 years ago, so it needs significant attention. He further says environment concerns have been raised around the area, but extensive studies have been done by EMA over the last 2 years to establish where exactly was the problem. The company has engaged in several projects around Zimbabwe and at Mbuzi Roundabout along Mashingo Road, and they have already acquired the development permits to construct a shopping mall. And this brings us to the end of your sports and entertainment news on JIT-TV this hour. Coming up next is the JIT-TV Weather Report.
Well, this brings us to the end of our JIT television news bulletin this hour. Stay tuned to JIT TV as we bring you the best entertainment news, information, analysis, sports, business, and all the headlines of the day. And do stay in touch on Twitter, Facebook, and our website, www.jit-tv.tv, and leave a comment. My name is Noguthula Shabalala in Ntombi Mshengu. See you same time tomorrow and stay connected. Cheers.